I'm upset. No disrespect, respectfully. But disrespectfully is disrespect. Don't be disrespectful. Those vile, disgusting Spartans. Poor little girl, them. And I'ma tell them why I'm mad. That vile, disgusting cesspool in Columbus. The other state, and of course, as always, I'm upset. What a dominant win for the Wolverines. Thank you for joining me. If you're here, make sure you like and share the live. Let's talk about it, man. The Wolverines came out, handled business on the road, right? A lot of people said that the Wolverines wouldn't look the same on the road. You're right. They look better. A lot of people said that the Wolverines wouldn't be able to dominate in the fashion that they dominated today. You're right. They dominated more than they have all year. With the step up in competition, the Wolverines stepped their game up as well. Thank you, everyone, for joining again. Hit the like and share button. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. That should have been a shutout. I agree. Gave up a late touchdown, long run. But we can't be perfect. Everything can't be perfect. It was nearly perfect. I have to say that. Was nearly perfect. And gave up the long run at the end, but whatever. Michigan covers the spread for the first time all season, but that's not even what's important, because as Michigan fans, we don't care about that. All we care about is getting the W, and Michigan got the W today. No question about it. It was never going to be a contest. Shout out to Matt Rule and his Cornhuskers. They came, they gave it their all. They put up their best foot. They put their best foot forward, rather. It just wasn't enough. It was never going to be enough, unfortunately. Michigan ended up playing 4 different quarterbacks in this game. Michigan played umpteen running backs in this game. J.J. McCarthy, J.J. McHimothy, and Roman Wilson have the greatest connection in college football today. I said it. Sue me. I believe it. I stand by it. If you don't believe in anything else, believe that. Roman Wilson, J.J. McCarthy. The McCarthy to Wilson connection is the best connection in college football. Argue with your mother if you disagree. That's all I got. It's no way that, let's go back to the game. Let's talk about some actual factuals from the game. Michigan comes out. They want to establish the run. Nebraska's one of the best run defenses in all of college football. It didn't matter. It was never going to matter. Michigan's offensive line controlled the game in a way this week that they haven't controlled the game all season. And Michigan dominated up front in the trenches. On the defensive side, Michigan's defensive line dominated up front in the trenches. This is the type of team Jim Harbaugh dreams about. All Jim Harbaugh's coaching life, he dreamt of a team just like this one, where he has elite play at quarterback that he doesn't necessarily have to rely on, because in the trenches, he dominates. He has elite talent at running back. He has an elite defense. Speaking of the defense, we cannot say enough. And I have to give this man some flowers. He needs his flowers. Jesse Minter is calling jewels on defense. Jesse Minter is absolutely dominating whoever the offensive coordinator is across from him every weekend and calling jewels on defense. It really comes down to it. That's what it really comes down to. Shout out to James LaRoe. Let's go blue. Absolutely. I'm going to tell you what. The other state took a week off to lick their wounds. Of course they scheduled a week off after they play a real team, right? They needed a week off to lick their wounds. Next week, they are in trouble. They're going to have their hands full with Maryland. Maryland might do our job for us. I don't want them to, right? But we might not have a say in it. They're going to have their hands full. Speaking of teams that had their hand full, Georgia. What's going on? What happened to the mighty SEC? We need answers. Georgia looks like they won their game against Auburn, who hasn't been good since I don't know. It's been a long time since Auburn's been actually good. And Georgia needed everything they had in the tank to win that game. They needed 2 one-handed catches to beat Auburn, 2 one-handed catches from Bowers, who is a complete stud, to beat Auburn. But you know what Michigan didn't need? Excellent performances from any one guy, because like a well-oiled machine, Michigan dominates and everybody wins their position. Everybody wins that play. That's the point. That's when you're playing the best football possible. When everybody on offense or defense, because Michigan's winning on both sides, wins that play. And that's exactly what Michigan's doing. They're winning that play. Sleeping Giants woke up. And I don't even think this isn't everything Michigan can do, right? They had an excellent game. We take nothing away from that. But there's still more out there for Michigan in terms of what they could have done. Michigan could have won this game 55-60 to nothing, right? But we don't need to. We don't need to do that. At the end of the day, final score 45-7, right? As I explained, gave up a late game touchdown, long run, good for the morale of the Nebraska fan base. There's a great lesson in giving up a few points for those new up-and-comers. Sure, absolutely. Michigan had in the backups basically at this time on offense and defense. In fact, on offense, we were 4 deep, going 3 and 4 deep. But on defense, certainly had, some young guys in there. I saw Jair Hill get some playing time, true freshman at corner. It's a lot of guys in there able to get some playing time, which is what you want to see, right? You want guys to get that experience, that big game experience. I mean, not to say that Nebraska's a world beater. We all know they are not. They are an improving team under Matt Rule. It's still 80,000 people in the stands in Nebraska every week. Not to mention the week they're going to play the number 2 team in all of college football. By the way, after this week, that needs to change. I'm talking to you, AP poll. Talking to you, coaches. There's only one clear number 1 team in America, and they reside in Ann Arbor. Clear. Got to wonder if Orgy is hurt. Yeah, that was interesting. I did not see Orgy out there. We did go 4 deep at quarterback, including Denegal, Tuttle, Davis Warren. No Alex Orgy, which is a little disconcerting, especially since Michigan has even gone to say that they would, we would see him returning kicks possibly. We haven't really seen any of that so far. Yes, it's great to play the young guys. Just, man, how great our top defense has been. Absolutely. Absolutely. Michigan's starting defense is dominating football games, and there's really nothing to say. It's not even close. They're squeezing the life out of everyone that they've played so far. And I'm not here to say that we've played the best teams that we could possibly play. However, I am saying this translates no matter who we play, right? You saw that today. Today is a great example of exactly that. Michigan has played the likes of Bowling Green, UNLV. And that Michigan defense dominated. Today they took another step up, even from last week against Rutgers when we played that 3-0 juggernaut. I stand by that. They were an undefeated team, but whatever. Rutgers comes in, gets dominated. Now we go on the road in a hostile environment in Lincoln, Nebraska, dominate. That defense, the things that Michigan does well, Michigan does a lot of things well, but the things that Michigan does the best, right? Run the football, pass and run block, and play defense, play sound defense. All of those things translate, especially the running the football and playing great defense. Those translate no matter who it is that you're playing. Josiah Stewart. It was great to see Josiah Stewart get those 2 sacks today. It was great to see McGregor get that sack today. Michigan's defense is a problem. There are playmakers all up and down the defensive line. There are playmakers at linebacker. There's playmakers in that defensive backfield. We didn't even mention Mike Sanders still today. Will Johnson may have given up a big receiving play, but Will Johnson is Will Johnson. They're playmakers at every level of this defense, at really every position on this defense, right? Ernest Hausman is a guy who doesn't even start, but got in there and made his presence felt. He dominated when he was in the game. Josiah Stewart, the same, doesn't start, dominated when he was in the game. Derek Moore, I even saw Derek Moore in there, right? Didn't necessarily get the sacks, but dominated. He was flashing, right? Kenneth Grant, need to say nothing more. Kenneth Grant is an absolute beast. Came up with an interception today. Clearly can run. We saw him run last week when Mikey came up with that interception, and Kenneth Grant is down there blocking with the defensive backs. I'm really having trouble finding anything that I can say is anything close to a weakness for Michigan right now. What do you guys think? What is Michigan missing, if anything? From the coaching staff to the position groups to the way they play together, it's just a cohesive mix. It's a cohesive match. They have gotten the guys that they've wanted to get, right? It's not necessarily about getting every 5-star you can get your hands on or every 4-star you can get your hands on. It's about getting the guys that you can mold into the young men and the players that you want them to be. And Jim Harbaugh does that better than everybody in America. I said it. That includes Nick Saban. That includes Kirby Smart. That includes Dabo Swinney, right? These guys get the upper crust of the most talented individuals. And credit to them, especially to Nick Saban, who has gotten those guys and has produced with those guys. Kirby Smart, the same, has gotten those guys, has produced. Dabo, gotten them and produced. However, it is something different to be said for the coach that can get the lesser known individuals, turn them into the Aiden Hutchinsons of the world, turn them into the David Ojabos of the world, right? The Ronnie Bells of the world, who is probably going to start tomorrow, who caught his first touchdown a week ago in the NFL. Jim Harbaugh is absolutely, without question to me, and this is just my personal opinion, because a guy like Nick Saban has the resume. All those guys I mentioned, all 3 of those guys have better resumes than Jim Harbaugh in terms of at the very top. But are they better coaches than Jim Harbaugh? I cannot say that unequivocally. I can say Nick Saban is a greater coach. His resume suggests that. I can say Kirby Smart is greater. He does have back-to-back national championships. His resume suggests it. He's not better. He doesn't coach football better than Jim Harbaugh. I'm saying it. I'm not afraid to stand out in front of this one. I will die on this hill. Nobody in America coaches football better than Jim Harbaugh. I said it. They're number one in AP tomorrow. I'm upset. You're absolutely right. If they're not number one, we're upset. Collectively, the fan base, everybody here in the comment section, we are upset. Michigan should be number one unequivocally tomorrow. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear anything other than seeing a number one next to U of M. Punt return still scary. Dahl has moves but catches the ball. Morris muffed the punt. That's true. That's true. Okay, so you found maybe the special teams is an area where Michigan needs to improve. I'll give you that 1,000%. 1,000%. Work and refine, get ready for back half of the season. Absolutely. That's another thing that people aren't looking at enough. Michigan is resting guys, right? JJ McCarthy could probably be full well in, I'm talking nose deep, knee deep, I'm sorry, in the Heisman conversation, except he's not finishing games ever. JJ McCarthy has not finished a football game. Today, he goes, what was his stat line today? He threw for 2 touchdowns. We know that. We know he was super, didn't put the ball in harm's way. He does have the one game against Bowling Green where he had the 3 interceptions, but I'm not even going to live in that past anymore. This isn't a reality for JJ McCarthy anymore. JJ McCarthy takes care of the football, bottom line. That's it. Period at the end of that sentence. JJ McCarthy takes care of the football. JJ McCarthy has dominated the other teams. Period. Hard stop. All right. Today, let's just look at it. Let's look at what he did today. Today, he goes 12 for 18, 156, 2 touchdowns. All right. That's nothing to write home about, but it's about the consistency. Every week he's doing that. Every week he's putting up touchdowns. Roman Wilson, the same. Those who stay will be champions. One of the greatest quotes of all time. Just happened to be a Michigan man that said that. Those who stay will be champions. They have a great strength and conditioning program, so they should be okay only playing 3 quarters. You're absolutely right. That is enough can't be said about that. The job Coach Herbert is doing, the strength and conditioning coach for the Michigan Wolverines, absolutely phenomenal. What's good, my guy? Absolutely incredible job he is doing. Let's get some likes. 60 people, only 19 likes. Yeah, I can't even see that. Thank you for that. Let's get those likes up. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you share the video. If you're here, you're commenting. Make sure to get those likes up. I appreciate it very much. Thank you all. Let's talk about what we got going. What else we had going on today, right? Blake Corum, is there another running back in America that you enjoy seeing run the football? Because for me, the answer is no. Easily no. Blake Corum runs the ball with such a grace that I haven't seen in a very long time. But be honest, today he got his 40th touchdown as a Michigan Wolverine. He's one behind his current running backs coach in Mike Hart, who has 41. I suspect he'll pass him, maybe even in the next game. Right? JJ McCarthy is dominant. Blake Corum is dominant. I saw today Donovan Edwards had a better game than he's been having. He still hasn't even, stretched his legs per se, right? Michigan is dominating opponents at every facet of the football game, other than, as somebody pointed out, I think it was P. Maximus, in the special teams. Michigan could get better in the special teams department without a doubt, right? Today, Blake Corum, 18 carries, 74 yards, and a touchdown. Roman Wilson, 4 receptions, 58 yards, 2 more touchdowns. He leads all of America in touchdown receptions. Roman Wilson, who recently made the switch to the number 1 jersey at Michigan this year, recently as in at the start of this season. You don't wear that jersey and then go out and not produce. And Roman Wilson has taken that challenge upon himself. Roman Wilson, who is from the island of Hawaii, Roman Wilson, whose home islands have been were ravaged by that wildfire. Or maybe it wasn't a wildfire. It was a fire, though, right? We know that. And he, this season, has taken all of that, put it on his back, and has come out on the other side and is dominating college football in a way that a Michigan wide receiver hasn't done in a long time. Let's just call a spade a spade. Michigan has had some talented receivers over the years since Braylon Edwards, right? But none of them have dominated in terms of putting points on the board at this stage in the season like Roman Wilson. Donald making a strong statement here. Roman Wilson will be a first-round draft pick. He's certainly making a case. Mullins ran the ball hard today. Absolutely. Mullins ran the ball extremely hard today. He ran the ball well, tough. I think everybody that touched it, honestly, ran it pretty well. Roman Wilson's catch today will be on ESPN News Cycle for the rest of the week. Absolutely. He put the defender in a headlock, basically, a vice grip, and would not let that thing go. That was beautiful. That was great to see. And it was excellent for Roman Wilson. I like the way that Michigan won today. O-line, D-line. That's how you win big games. Absolutely, Mike. Absolutely. We talked about that at the start of this video. Michigan dominated in the trenches, right? Offensive line, defensive line, completely dominant performances. Cannot say enough about that. WWE, WWF meets Michigan football. Absolutely. Yeah, he did like DDT, my guy, almost. It was like a Russian. I was going to say Russian leg sweep, but obviously it wasn't the leg sweep. But it was a headlock maneuver only seen in the UFC of late, I guess. Insane catch, insane game by those guys. I was completely enamored. The numbers aren't going to jump off the page at anyone necessarily, except for 45-7 on the road, by the way. 45-7 in another team's building, completely smacking them all up and down the field. They got a touchdown that they didn't necessarily deserve or earn, right? But they got a touchdown, so there's that. But Michigan dominated this game in a fashion that Michigan wants to dominate football games. They want to beat you down with the run game. They want to strangle the life out of you on defense. They did that successfully today. Any questions? Anything you guys want to add to it? Here's a number that's going to jump out at you. No injuries today. Absolutely. You love to see that. Anytime you see that, you love to see it. Shout out to my guy, Don, with the super chat. 14 likes come on week. Very weak. That is weak. You're right, Don. We need to get those likes up. Make sure you hit the like button. It costs you nothing. It's very free. Make sure you hit the like button. Share the live. Shout out to my guy, Dom. I appreciate it. You're the man. Killer Dogs, I can already hear final rule already. Man, that's wild. I don't think they should do it. Matt Rule is a good college coach. This is his first year. He took over a mess. They never were going to beat Michigan today. I don't care who the coach was. It just wasn't going to happen. So glad to see O'Leary get a touchdown. That's true. Yes. He's one of my favorites. He's a guy I think could get more minutes. I'm surprised he hasn't, been out there more this season, but that was definitely good to see Dinegal find him in the end zone. beautiful, beautiful thing to see. Up to 37 now. 37 likes. Good. Thank you. Let's get those likes up. Make sure you like, share the stream. These dominating games help our backups with more, can only help us down the road. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. This is a great opportunity for guys who don't get to play very much to get in games, get some quality minutes against a quality football team, right? They were still out there with their ones. And Michigan was going 3 and 4 deep on the bench. So that is a great opportunity for younger guys, for guys who don't get a lot of time to get out there and play. Very great. Appreciate you and your hard work. Shout out to you, Dom. I appreciate you, man. You're one of the top madmen on the channel for sure. I appreciate you. It took 6 years to get it right. Michigan, seriously, fans are so fanatical. Absolutely. Think about that. Think about what Marcus just said, right? There was a time, especially after the COVID year, where people were calling for Jim's job, right? When Jim couldn't beat the other state, he was 0-5 against he who shall not be named, that trash bag that used to coach at the other state. But Jim got it together and found the rhythm, got the kind of guys he wanted to get, was able to get a good core in terms of the coaching, the coaches around him, and he's been dominating ever since. So give Matt Rule some time. Matt Rule has coached 5 games at Nebraska. Anybody calling for his job already is out of their mind, especially calling for his job after he lost to the number 2 team in the country. Would they expect them to win that game? By the way, the number 2 team that is soon to be the number 1 team, in my opinion, in the country, because Georgia, it took everything Georgia had to clear Auburn today. So there's that. Our defense is dominant. That over the middle done got us the last couple weeks. That's true. That's true. Michigan does find themselves, especially when they're playing man to man. Teams can hit them with a little bit of crossing routes, but it's nothing like back when Don Brown was the coach. All right. Jesse Minter does a pretty good job of shoring up that defense. My like button has a number 1 beside it. I don't want to brag, but shout out to Gage. I appreciate it, Gage. Mullings has developed in the offseason. I saw it today. His first step is 1,000 times better. You're absolutely right. Mullins, a converted linebacker, right? If I'm correct me if I'm wrong. So definitely takes some time to transition a lot of times, and he looks like he's making that transition pretty well. And he had himself a game today. So good job, and well done by Khalil Mullins today. All right, guys, I'll give it a couple more minutes before I get out of here. Make sure you leave your questions. I'm trying to get to everybody, your comments, because building something good sometimes takes time. There's a ton of flash in the pan teams. Michigan is built for the long haul. You're absolutely right. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about the landscape of the Big Ten for a second right now. Just this season, actually. Obviously, Penn State and the other state are seen as the biggest threats to Michigan. I am not worried at all about either team after what I've seen in the last couple weeks, but Penn State Michigan does have to travel to Penn State. Luckily for Michigan, the TV networks are greedy and can't get it together. So Fox chose that Michigan Penn State game at a noon for Fox noon kickoff, which prevented NBC from putting that game on at night and prevented a whiteout in Beaver Stadium, which I'm not complaining about. So good on them, I guess. And bad on them for doing bad business because they're just greedy television networks. But whatever. Night game, Michigan Penn State night game would have been epic. We're not going to get it. Instead, Michigan's just going to go beat them up in broad daylight. I'm okay with it. Then you have the other state, right? And they're softer than Charmin coach. If you saw the Dr. Phil episode, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you didn't, go check out the Dr. Phil episode on Ryan Day. I'm sorry, Dr. Phil with Ryan Day. It was a great sketch. Anyway, that guy obviously has Jim Harbaugh living rent-free in his head. After that win, after his team had a top 10 win over Notre Dame at Notre Dame, he was worried about what a former coach, a decrepit old man, had to say about he and his team about being soft. And the reason he said that about their team being soft is because of Michigan. That's really it. Because of what Jim Harbaugh and Michigan has been able to do to that vile, disgusting, cesspool-ridden team from Columbus. And he, instead of, directing his anguish towards who he should direct it towards, and that's Jim Harbaugh because he's living rent-free in his head, he decided to turn that focus to Lou Holtz, who was really just saying aloud what everybody has been thinking, what Michigan fans have been saying aloud, right? But everybody else has been thinking it, including those within his own fan base and team. And he turned that anguish to Lou Holtz, who Lou Holtz kind of caught a stray that was meant for Jim Harbaugh. But make no mistakes about it, that was all because of what's been happening to he and his team when they play Michigan. Bottom line. My guy Ryan, Maize Madman, breaking news: Notre Dame is going to be without 3 wide receivers, 2 of whom start for them in Jaden Greyhouse. Why is that? Why are they doing that? I don't think this is a game where you want to be without 3 of your best wide receivers. Either way, that sounds like a Notre Dame problem. We don't have those issues here at Michigan. We dominate. He played today, got burned once, got lucky once with the tip at the line, had 2 solo tackles. Just need some time to resync with game time pace, for sure. Penn State and Crying Ryan need their butts whipped by Michigan this year. Oh, it's going to happen, John. Don't worry. It's happening. Chris Tyree, Tobias Merriweather, Rico Flores, and true freshman 4-star wide receiver Braylon James will get a run. I'm not sure. What's the problem, though? Why are those other guys out? That is called projection. For sure, injuries. Okay. Got you. Mullings, the Don, low-key hot take. Listen. That is a hot take. I didn't want to say it, and that's why I didn't really breach this subject. But Mullins did play better than Donovan Edwards. Donovan Edwards dropped the pass. Donovan Edwards played better today than he had been playing. I don't know what's going on, if he's dealing with something. I do think, obviously Donovan Edwards is the more talented guy, but Khalil Mullins has played pretty well and definitely played better today. On D out, but here we're in their heads for real. You're absolutely short. You're absolutely right. I'm sorry. We live in their heads. If you hop on Twitter right now, it's going to be a bunch of them making some excuse as to why we just dominated Nebraska and they have looked less than dominant against lesser competition, i.e. Indiana, but whatever. Got knocked out of OSU game early in the second quarter. Edwards definitely underperformed. I was in denial for a few games, but give it time. Yeah. Bottom line is he is underperforming. He does need to pick it up and get better. The hope is that he will. I'm sure he will at some point, but right now it's not looking great. Impressive showing for Michigan. Meanwhile, Georgia, USC, now LSU messing around with upsets. LSU down 14. Yes, they are. And Oregon is losing to Stanford. Oh, man, it's a mess. Look, the bottom line is I think Michigan has shown this year that they are the best team in college football. I know there's a lot of people that have been saying, oh, there's not one dominant team in college football. Michigan, by au contraire, has been dominant. Michigan's the lone dominant force in college football this season. Georgia has struggled in multiple weeks now. The other state has struggled. We've seen their struggles. We've seen Notre Dame lose. We've seen Texas struggle, even though today they struggled for a bit and came out at the end. They pulled away at the end. LSU has already lost the game. Florida State is undefeated, but they've struggled. So Washington is a team that I guess hasn't struggled. But USC, Oregon right now is struggling against Stanford of all teams. But everybody has struggled except for Michigan. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. Texas dodged a bullet with no Jalen Daniels. Seems like Kansas putting all their eggs into the Oklahoma matchup. Maybe. Everyone who plays OSU and exploit their secondary like a rented mule know what I'm saying. Salute to the Wolverines for kicking around another tomato can. Look, what I tell you guys, goes, today is not the day that you should be saying this. I'm going to be honest with you. Nebraska is not a great team at all. They're not a very good team right now. They are a Big Ten team. They are improving. We just are that good. That's the point. Michigan is that good. Make sure you hit the like button, Goes. By the way, I know you came in here, you ain't hit the like button yet. Hit the like button. Go Blue. That's for you haters. Absolutely. My guy Twan in the building. Michigan's been the only team who hasn't struggled with bad teams or upset or on upset alert, although Michigan hasn't played anyone, but Michigan would blow out Stanford and Ole Miss. Without a doubt, today is the I'm not even going to say it. You almost got me. Though. I'm not doing it. Michigan should be number one because Georgia struggled, like you said, in the margin of victory. Absolutely. Michigan, without a doubt, is the number one team in America. That Maryland-Ohio State game looking scary. I said that to begin the show. The other state's going to have their hands full with the Terrapins, and it's going to be a beautiful thing to see. Don't try and sell the greatness of Nebraska. I'm not trying to sell the greatness of Nebraska. Said Nebraska's not great. They're improving. I like to see what you guys do against Nebraska. But, you won't even have to worry about that. You got Maryland next week. You should really focus. Those guys should be focused on the task at hand next week because it's going to be a long day if not. Nebraska is equivalent to a top-tier MAC team in a good year. Sure. Yeah, I can see that. Great teams make bad teams look bad, especially on the road. And that's exactly what Michigan did. Because here's the difference, Goj. Georgia played a bad team in Auburn. They made Auburn look like a respectable team. They are not. Georgia played a bad team in South Carolina. They made South Carolina look respectable. They are not. Michigan played a bad UNLV team, a bad Bowling Green team, a bad Rutgers team, a bad Nebraska team. And guess what they did? Made them all look bad. East Carolina, I got to throw them in there. Made them look bad. You guys played a bad Indiana team. Had them looking very respectable out there. Indiana looked like a respectable football team week one. That's all I'm saying. Answer this question. Who the hell else can we beat on besides the lame ass buck asses and Penn State? Get the hell out of here. Absolutely. And they're going to have their day. That's the thing. The thing is, everybody can say what they want to say, including Goj and the other Ohio State fans. But the problem is you have to see us on November 25th. Not only do you have to see us on November 25th, you have to come to the big house and try to exercise some snow demons. It's not going to happen. Michigan is America's best team to play nobody. Man, the spiciness. Are you hurt today? Somebody hurt you? You can't equate Auburn's roster to that of Nebraska. I'm not equating Auburn's roster to that of Nebraska. In fact, but is Auburn good? Are you saying Auburn is a good football team? I don't, roster aside, they're not good. That's what I'm equating to Nebraska. Auburn and Nebraska are equals in their not goodness. Only thing OSU has on Michigan is they have the better win of the two. That's it. That's a fact. I'll give you that. Right now, the other state has the best win in the conference, actually. I'm going to go that far. They've got the best win. The best win in the conference is the Buckeyes win over Notre Dame. So you got that. But you know what? Doesn't matter, because on November 25th, you bring all that baggage with you. Bring that win over Notre Dame. Bring whatever happens with Maryland, which, by the way, you should be focusing on. Bring your whatever happens with Penn State, which, by the way, you guys should really focus on. Bring all that to November 25th to the big house. We'll take all that baggage off your hands, hand you one of these fresh L's, send you on your way. All right? Continue. Don't fall for Go's straw man argument. I'm not. Goj is my guy. I rock with Goj, but no way. Auburn's quarterback beat Michigan a few years ago. Great. We're going to be there this year. Ohio State revives another 15 years of Spain. Don't make me laugh. Come on, man. You got to be better. You got to do better than that. Who has the other state played? I know they aren't in here talking about they played a tough team because they barely won against a team that can't count. Oh, my God. You know why he can't count? Because he has a degree from the other state. He has an education from the other state. Clearly, they're not teaching people to count to 11. Keep hope alive over here, hater. Yeah, man. I mean, that's all he can do at this point. The big house will be the Woody, the Buckeyes practice field. Oh, man, this is so good. This is great. I like, hey, you know what, Goes, you my guy. I like you stay, you believe in your team. I'll give you that. You believe in them. Unfortunately, they're not going to be able to cash in the tickets you're selling. Living rent free in Ryan Day's head for sure. They got a condo in his head. They got a mansion, a freaking Disney World size estate in Ryan Day's head. Goes, what have you done for me lately? Nothing. That's what the other state has done. Absolutely nothing. That's what they've been saying the last 2 years. I know it sounds like a broken record. They sound like, I don't know. Ain't beating nothing, that's for sure, with that Iowa playbook. They are putting up Iowa numbers out here. Oh my God. I've watched Michigan, watched them today, slightly above. What? Now Goes, I'm about to block you. Slightly above average. You put some respect on our name. Slightly above average. The disrespect. Maize, they know it's about to be 3 in a row. Absolutely. By the way, I have to go back to this. Slightly above what? Do not say things out of your mouth, especially if those things sound like this. This is a message to everybody who comments on anybody's comment section. Do not talk about the best team in America the way that Goes is talking about the best team in America. Because if we are slightly above average, what type of trash? Like, who is the trash service that comes and picks up Ohio State then? Because this is crazy. This is a crazy take right here. This isn't even a hot take. This is a crazy take. Come on, man. Nebraska got all them. They yeah, should have beat them. Oh man. So what does it take to beat Michigan in 2023? Um, well, to beat Michigan in 2023, you're gonna have to put scoreboard pressure on Michigan. Scoreboard pressure in the second half. I think Joe Klatt talked about this, getting Michigan out of their routine, out of their schedule, basically making them do things that they wouldn't normally do, like have to drop back and pass the ball 45, 50 times. That would get Michigan. You need to get them in some sort of flux, right? If Michigan can't run the ball, if you're getting constant pressure, that's how you do it. Scoreboard pressure, and Michigan is unable to run the ball. Always nice to hear from delusional Buckeye fans who still believe they're the better team. Exactly. I mean, I don't know what exactly these guys are. These easy wins are good for the rankings, but I'd rather see closer games like 38-20 to keep us more battle tested. T1000, I'm a disagree with this. Sure, a closer win would show some mettle. That said, I don't want to be in close battles with teams we shouldn't be in close battles with. And right now, we haven't played a team that deserves to be 38-20 close to us, and we've proven that. So, I understand what you're saying, but until we play somebody that can get 20 points, I disagree. It'll be better for us down the road. All right. Delusional. Give me a wrench so I can beat him over the head for that stupid state. That was a wild take, right? That was wild. Oh, slightly above average. Love your passion, Maize. I love your comments, T1000. Keep them coming. Bucknuts are soft serve. Absolutely. The softest serve ice cream on planet Earth. Slightly above average. They're simply a decent football club. Nothing more, nothing less. I'm this close. This close. It's about to be a moment of silence for Goj today in the comment section because these takes are getting more and more ridiculous. I think Michigan will win it all this year if they play like today. No doubt about it. Michigan has to be the championship front runner after today for multiple reasons, not just the way that Michigan played, but the way that the rest of America has looked. Bottom line. Pick one. OSU secondary, MSU head coach turmoil, Iowa's offensive capabilities. Oh man, that's excellent. We better be careful for Penn State. Penn State, I think, is a decent team. They struggled today a little bit with Northwestern. That game was 10-10, longer than it should have been. Like deep in the second, third quarter, that score was 10-10. I'm not. They are. What do I call Penn State? They are sufficient. There's somebody who should be reckoned with. I agree with that. We do have to prepare correctly. We don't want to go into Beaver Stadium not ready, but I'm not really worried either, if that makes any sense. That's why Ohio State and Penn State have stacked the defensive line to stop us from running. And we saw it even with the other states stacking the line, they still gave up 70 plus yard runs to the Don. I'm not worried about them at all. Don't forget the level of competition for sure. Football club. I think Go just talking about soccer. Right. Be blessed, my friend. Troll drive through. My guy, man. Speaking of Iowa, time for Kirk Ferentz to go if they want to be a top 20 team again. Man, that's so tough, man. Kirk Ferentz is a good coach. I do think he needs a real offensive coordinator. I'm going to go ahead and say it. They need to make a change at offensive coordinator. Kirk Ferentz, maybe he needs a change of scenery too, because I do like him as a coach. I think he's a good coach, but can't keep hitting your head against the wall, doing the same things either. So there's that. Or is Iowa so bad that they made PSU look good? I mean, I think there's a little bit of both. Offensively, they are really bad. They are really, really bad offensively. I think the defense was on the field too long. And eventually, the levee broke in terms of their will and stamina. Penn State is Michigan from 2021. We have evolved Michigan version 8.4. Not a bad take. Jim needs to win his first championship. I agree with that. Jim does need to win his first championship. Penn State is the same team. The only difference is we don't got to worry about the old man running around. We got more of a statue of truth. So funny to see D'Antonio back on the sideline. Yes, it is. It's funny and hypocritical of poor little bro them, but it's not our problem. Well, either way, they're out of here. Nepotism broke Iowa. I agree with this, Marcus. It's a good take. A good coach would hire good coaches. Stop using the high school offense. He is the reason that Iowa isn't relevant anymore. That's fair. That's a fair point. Primetime game tonight in the Big Ten, Iowa versus MSU. Wow, I bet the over 2.5. Somebody's going to kick a field goal and win that game. D'Antonio gets AARP perks now, though. Yeah, that's fair. Man, it was good time to rock out with you guys. I appreciate everyone for coming through. Be sure to check out the channel. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Share this. And subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time, guys, stay angry, my friends. I'm upset.